Hello?
You're listening to the only podcast that admits they might know what they are talking about.
Hello?
This is We Might Know Sports
I hope everyone has a ball.
with Stefan,
Go to a topic Corey might like. I don't even know.
Kevin,
You might like it, Corey. He just doesn't know.
and Corey.
Sounds like something a guy in a van would tell me.
We're back. Well, it's Monday night. A new week has begun. I turn on my TV for some pigskin fun. I see a Super Bowl season here on ABC. The biggest game each week is their specialty. I gotta get ready, make everything right. 'Cause Monday night football's coming on tonight.
All right, we are live, and this is episode number 21. Mr. Hank Williams has his job back as Monday Night Leadoff, and with 94 days until the NFL kicks off, I thought it was only appropriate that we start that with that song. I am joined today, as always, by the always here co-host, Corey Vanderveer.
What's going on?
I always get confused on your last name, sorry.
You said it right.
Vanderver.
You said it wrong.
And then, of course, the one-time host, one-time special guest, and now back in his reign of being a co-host against one Mr. Stephen Saxby.
My reign of terror.
Your reign of terror. I can't wait for this top five. I don't even. I'm just super excited. It's my favorite segment of the week.
This one, you're gonna like this one, Kevin. I don't even know.
Don't even know. All right. If you want to get a hold of us, you can see in the background I put up the phone number so you guys can see it. It's 425-786355. And if you're listening to this pre-recorded, you can also send us a text or call in and leave a voicemail. That number is always on. We record live every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. For those wondering, if you ever want to watch us live and chime in and tell Stefan to shut up. So,
You shut up.
we have a bunch to cover, including one that I really want to talk about. Stefan actually came up with this idea, so I'm excited to talk about it. So, his ideas are far and few, but they tend to be hit out of the ballpark. So,
That's right.
underway with some NBA Finals talk. Let's talk Game 1 first. Game 1 ended with Golden State winning 113-91. That was pretty much a blowout throughout the entire game, correct?
After the first quarter. Yep.
Yeah.
To the first quarter. Anything notable that happened in that game that we should talk about?
Klay Thompson played pretty poor, and Golden State was still able to win by that much. On the flip side for Cleveland, Kevin Love didn't play that well, and Kyrie didn't even shoot that well, even though he scored 24. So LeBron, I believe, had a triple-double or close to it, and it didn't matter in Game 1. And that was about it for Game 1. Cleveland's turnovers were an insane amount. You're never going to beat Golden State turning the ball over that much. And Golden State, I think, only turned the ball over 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times.
And I think Golden State out-rebounded Cleveland. So it was just a really bad showing. I kind of chalked that up as a whatever game. But the more interesting game, I think, was just last night.
So I'm going to fact check you here.
Oh.
Cleveland had 59 rebounds. Golden State had 50.
Oh, okay. So they did out-rebound them. It didn't seem like it if you watched.
And you are correct. Wait. No, LeBron was close to a triple-double. He only had 15 rebounds, 28 points, and 8 assists. So he was
last night he got one.
All right. So let's move on to Game 2. 132-113. I tuned in for the second and third quarter before I tuned out to watch more important Seattle Sounders game. That was a 1-0 win. But let's stick with the topic. And it was back and forth from what I watched till apparently the fourth quarter or the midway through the third quarter, because that's apparently when I tuned out, because it was Golden State by 10 at that point, and the final score was 132-113.
Stefan, you can go ahead and recap game 2.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much hit that one on the head of the nail there, and yeah, it was back and forth for a little bit.
Green got into foul trouble.
He was in foul trouble. Klay Thompson showed up, so that hurt Cleveland's chances. Definitely a fast-paced game, which doesn't benefit Cleveland, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure Corey's opinion as well. They couldn't get any stops. It didn't seem like, and every time it seemed like Cleveland was making a run to try to bring it back into a game, Golden State would come down and hit a three or get a steal and get a fast break layup, or they had too much for Cleveland to handle.
All right, and I believe game 3 is going to be on Wednesday. That's they're all on ABC-ish, so it's on ABC.
9 o'clock, right?
Yep. So, do we see a win by Cleveland in this series?
Like I was telling Stefan, obviously, if they're going to win, it has to be game 3. You can't go down 3-0. I don't know, though, what they can do differently other than what Stefan mentioned as far as really trying to slow the game down. And in game 2, they seemed to be really successful when they would give it to Kevin Love in the post. He was actually seemed to be able to score on whether it was Kevin Durant or Pachulia or anyone else. Draymond Green, he was doing well down there. So I would try to slow it down and give it to him a little more. Maybe facilitate through him. Kevin Love is a great passing big man. On the other end, I think all you can do is just pray Golden State doesn't hit all their threes. They're going to take them. Steph Curry can hit from 30 feet out. There's no stopping that. So I see them winning game 3, honestly, but I'm not confident in it.
I think you'll see LeBron come out with a mission in game 3. I think he's tried to take over the past 2 games, and he just, with that pace, he just doesn't have enough in the tank. He can't do it all. He has to have all 3 of them, him, Love, and Kyrie, which all 3 of them have not been contributing. It's usually, I think Kyrie hasn't really shown up for either of the 2 games. I mean, he's still put up decent numbers, but he hasn't shot that well, and he tries to do too much ISO, I think. Kevin Love's definitely showing up. He's played better than he has all year. But and the bench, their bench has absolutely been non-existent. They need to, and that's usually what the home court will do, is your bench usually shows up at home. So that could make a big difference in that. I would give the edge to Cleveland in game 3. But I wouldn't count out Golden State. I think that it'll be a close game, and Cleveland's really going to have to push for this win.
I would add in, even besides the bench, their role players with Tristan and JR should play better at home, particularly JR Smith. He should be able to get going from 3, which would be a big help to them since they're definitely struggling to keep up 3-point range.
I think I saw a rumor, actually. I don't know if it was a rumor or if it was confirmed, that they're talking about starting Shumpert instead of JR for next game.
I could see that. Shumpert has shot the ball better, and he's a better defender.
So we'll see if that makes a difference.
Are you guys worried about Seth Curry? He looked kind of hurt in the third quarter. I don't know how he looked in the rest of the game, but he took a knee to the upper hip area.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
He seemed fine.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's anything lasting. Probably just a little sore.
In just a recap, Corey, you picked Golden State in 5. Stefan went 7, and I went 6. I went in the middle. So
Let's go Cleveland.
Does anyone have any doubts about their picks?
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of fact that Cleveland hasn't even been close. Like it's neither of these games. Like usually, I mean, if you play them close, all right, you know, there's a chance that you could turn it around, but it just doesn't even look like they're even in the same ballpark as Golden State right now. So I gotta give them, you know, a little bit of an edge playing at home, but realistically, I could definitely see a sweep.
Stefan, you and I were talking a little bit last night. If, let's say, Golden State sweeps Cleveland, if next year, what does Cleveland have to do to be able to revamp their team and be able to give them a run?
They got to add players.
Do you see any free agents or role players that they can get? Like I mentioned, Dwayne Wade's available. Obviously, he's LeBron's best friend. Do you think they'll go that way?
I mean, I know what you're saying with Dwayne Wade, but I mean, is that even going to be enough? I mean, Dwayne Wade's, everybody's been talking about how how old he's getting and everything, and how he's been, you know, I mean, he did look pretty decent with Chicago.
Yeah,
he had a pretty good year, but I mean, how long is that going to continue? Really? Well, I mean, next year. I mean, you know how basketball players, it's usually not just like a gradual thing. It's usually like.
What if LeBron has to team up with Dwayne Wade to win another championship? Do you think it says more about Dwayne Wade then?
No. Because in my opinion, I don't see adding Dwayne Wade pushing them over. Like, I don't know.
What about if they add Dwayne Wade and Carmelo?
That could be different, but I just don't see where all this money comes from unless everybody's just taking huge pay cuts.
I think you'll see some players gone. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have Darren Williams. They probably won't have Shumpert and JR. One of them will be gone.
Right. What were you going to say, Kevin?
I just feel like Carmelo might take a pay cut just so he could get that championship. I don't think he really cares about the money at this point.
You don't think he cares about the money? He's had chances to leave the Knicks to go to better teams, and he's stayed there because he wants more money.
Yeah, but at this point, the Knicks have forced him out.
Now he's old.
He's been old. I don't know. I see Melo still chasing money. I see him still wanting to be the go-to guy. I don't know.
Well, I was thinking in my head they were talking about blowing the Clippers up. What if Blake Griffin goes to Cleveland with Dwayne Wade?
No, Blake's coming to the Celtics.
I think if Blake goes to Cleveland and they get Dwayne Wade, that becomes interesting.
Yeah. They definitely need something.
I think they need a good big. I mean, they have Kevin Love, but having Blake too would be really big for them. I don't know how Golden State would match up down low, and Cleveland would have the same problem though. They don't match up on the perimeter, so it'd be interesting.
I think that's the big difference. It's just two completely different styles of play for both teams. And right now, Golden State's, they're forcing Cleveland to play their style, and I feel like that's been the main difference.
That, and we haven't even mentioned Kevin Durant's playing defense this year.
Yeah,
at a high level.
But do you have like 5 or 6 blocks?
I think 5 blocks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then doing what he does on the offensive end.
And then Paul Pierce afterwards saying he's the greatest player on earth right now.
Today.
Do we agree with that, Kevin? Is Kevin Durant the best player on earth today?
Today. No, I don't agree with it.
So who is?
I would take LeBron James.
Okay.
The way the announcers were talking about his passing skills during the third quarter when he had a nice lob pass to a wide open guy down court, apparently no one else can complete that pass.
Oh, it's impossible. No, I mean it's definitely. I would say
I think that's something that makes me so mad about like watching these games, how big they blow up LeBron James. And it was like, I was watching it just thinking, oh, okay, how great of a, because I kind of tuned out at that point because it was starting to become a blowout, and they mentioned how great of a pass it was before commercial break, and I saw the replay, and I'm like, I see that type of pass made by college players all the time. Like, it wasn't anything special. I don't know if you guys know what play I'm talking about, but I just feel like the announcers kind of blow up more about LeBron James.
I thought they blew that play up because in the same breath they'll go out and say that Kevin Love is the greatest outlet passer in the whole league, and LeBron made that outlet pass. I mean, so how can no one else make that if the greatest outlet passer is on his team? So
yeah,
I agree with you on that one. Kevin, if they removed LeBron James from Cleveland and gave them Michael Jordan, would Cleveland win more games?
Yes. No. I think there's no real support for LeBron with Cleveland. I mean, Kevin Love, yeah, okay, but he's only so much when you're facing Seth Curry and Kevin Durant and Iguodala, and the list goes on. It feels like for Golden State, this Golden State team seems stacked, in my opinion, kind of like how Miami was a couple of years ago. And I feel like LeBron doesn't have the Dennis Rodman, the Scottie Pippen, the Steve Kerr that Michael Jordan did.
I can go with that. I've been saying Michael Jordan's better, so I was telling Stefan when Steph Curry beat Michael Jordan 1-on-1 to get an easy layup, or LeBron James, excuse me, 1-on-1 to get an easy layup.
I was like, when the hell did this happen?
I think that would be
You didn't see that?
YouTube video.
I was like, holy shit, man.
I don't think Michael Jordan would have gotten burned like that, but he is also a smaller, more agile player, so there's something.
I did watch that replay of Seth Curry getting by LeBron, no problem, and there was no push off this time.
No.
So it was all skill. So I'm about LeBron. I still think Jordan wins in a 1-on-1 in his heyday.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to really get into that argument so much, but that would be. It's hard. I don't like comparing players from different generations because.
Yeah, it's
say
hard.
You put Jordan. Say you put Jordan in this generation. Is he as successful? Who knows? If you put LeBron back in that generation, is he as successful? Who knows?
Well, that's why people debate about it, because no one knows, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean,
it's hard to compare positions. I don't like doing that.
Yeah, that too.
When Allen Iverson sat there and had that crossover against Jordan, was that like just because Allen Iverson was better than Michael Jordan, or the fact that Jordan was like 12 years his senior? I mean,
or the fact that Allen Iverson's the quickest player I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. You said that Steph Curry would never be able to get by Jordan like that, but he got burnt by Allen Iverson. So
we don't want to get into a debate about Allen Iverson and Steph Curry.
Just saying. Just saying. Proofs in the video. He's gotten burned.
Maybe another day.
Yeah, another day. At least they play the same position, so we can have a longer argument.
All right.
I mean, in my opinion, I used to be a Sixers fan. I guess I might still be one until Seattle gets one. And I would still take Jordan because Iverson had a lot of bad shots in his day too, where Jordan always seemed to be that clutch guy. Iverson was hit or miss. He wasn't as consistent.
Yeah, I wouldn't even debate that one, really.
All right. So, too bad. I'm changing the subject.
No, I said I wouldn't debate that.
Oh, okay. So we're going to go and cover the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Stefan and I watched Game 1. Unfortunately for us, because we both picked Nashville, Pittsburgh won 5-3 in Game 1 on last Monday. They actually tied it up in the third period. It was 3-3. Stefan and I were high-fiving on the couch and everything.
Weren't they down 3-0
Yes, they were down 3-0. And
at the end of the
second period, they scored a goal, and then they scored 2 within 4 minutes of each other. And then Pittsburgh's Jake Gunzel answered with the go-ahead goal, and then Nick Bonin, I'm not even going to attempt, scored an empty netter, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, he like popped one up over the guy's head. Yeah.
The most impressive fact that I found from game 1, and the announcers did, and actually you're going to notice a trend in the 3 games, is that Pittsburgh only shot 12 goals, or had 12 shots on goal, where Nashville had 26, and they still scored 5 times. So that's almost 50% conversion rate, shots on goal for Pittsburgh. And then game 2, Pittsburgh won 4-1. And then once again, shots on goal. Nashville had 38. Pittsburgh had 27. This one wasn't even close. I don't know if you watched it. Did either of you watch it?
No.
I caught a little bit at the airport on my flight, or when I got back to the East Coast.
Yeah, I stopped watching in the third when Pittsburgh jumped out to 3-1 lead, and then they would end up taking it for getting another goal like 30 seconds later. So, however, we do have a Nashville win, Stefan.
Yeah.
Nashville won 5-1. I believe it was Saturday night. Carrie Underwood was super excited. She sang the national anthem, I believe, at the game.
The national anthem?
The national. Sorry. Is dating one of the players or married to. I can't remember which one. I don't really care. However, once again, Nashville outshot Pittsburgh, and finally, this time, it came back to bite Pittsburgh in the butt because they outshot them 33-28. And pretty much after the second period, Nashville tied it up and ran away because Pittsburgh scored the first goal. So, with that being said, are we actually excited for this conclusion? Are you guys excited?
Well,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it could be a good series. If Nashville wins this one, then it's just a best of 3 at that point. So,
we could easily have the Stanley Cup Finals winner next podcast.
We could. We might not, though.
I'm hoping not, because that would help my cause.
What did I have Nashville in?
You had Nashville in 6.
6.
Corey's got Pittsburgh in 6. So
you've got them in what, 5?
Right now.
Or you have it 7 or 5?
I have 7.
7.
Yeah, I went 7.
So do you think they bring out Carrie Underwood for the national anthem again tonight as a little good luck charm, since it worked last time?
Why not?
Or maybe they have. I don't know if you heard about this one, but I don't know if it was Rex and Rob Ryan or just Rex Ryan, but they were like beating up a car, or they were smashing a car that was like a Penguins car.
A Penguins car.
It was like decked out. Yeah. And then the next day there was video of Rex and Rob Ryan getting in a fight with some people at a bar. So they're doing well in life, I see. Post coaching career.
Well, Rex had the famous line to that one player who challenged him. I walked over people in a bar fight tougher than you.
Oh, good old Rex.
I mean, do you guys root for the underdog? Is Nashville the underdog in this series?
I think they are because I don't think. I mean, how many times have you heard Nashville in the Stanley Cup? I mean, I know I've heard Pittsburgh in there before.
Sidney
So-
Crosby has Stanley Cups. I would definitely consider Nashville the underdog. They're unproven. And do I root for them? No, I like Sidney Crosby.
I root for them.
Know anyone else in the NHL?
Yeah, Malkin is on Pittsburgh. He's one of the better scorers in the league. And after that, no, I don't.
Are we gonna have to get you a Pittsburgh jersey for next year?
Yeah. I used to like Mario Lemieux, so I follow Pittsburgh, and that's about it.
Yamir Yager and all them.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Yager came up on a previous podcast. He's still in the league, so you can cheer for that team. I mean, he's someone.
Yeah, a 46-year-old Yager.
Do you only cheer for Pittsburgh because Cincinnati doesn't have a hockey team?
No, because there's no team that's a Tiger.
Is that what the whole Cincinnati thing is about? Just because?
Yeah, we discussed this.
Why did we
The
discuss
Predator is kind of like a tiger, isn't it?
We talked about how
the
each of
Sabres
us.
Tiger?
We talked about how each of us came to like our favorite teams, and I said I was 5 years old, and I just picked the team that looked like a tiger.
Oh, I know. Now I remember that. Yeah.
So you should be on Nashville Predators then, though. I mean, come on, it's like a tiger. As said.
My dad was a Penguins fan, and he likes hockey, and he was a St. Louis Blues fan too. So those are the two teams I pay attention to.
All right, moving on to our NASCAR funness. Corey, do you want to recap the previous race while I pull up the standings?
Sure. So at Dover, it was mostly dominated by Kyle Larson. I think he led 264 laps. But there was a major crash near the end and a restart. And Jimmy Johnson was able to sneak the win off of a restart. A lot of people had a problem with that. I mean, I don't really. He managed the race right and was able to sneak out the win. It is what it is. That's how racing goes. I believe Martin Truex, who's also been one of the dominant racers this year, came in third. And Ryan Newman came in fourth. And I don't know who came in fifth to round out your top five, but those are your top four drivers.
It's just as good as the top five. It's the top four.
This is Corey's new top four segment.
This is off the top of my head. I can't remember everything.
So, Stefan, did you want to take a guess of who's in first place for our fantasy league?
It's probably going to be me.
Well, from the bottom to the top, Corey is
Now we're here.
It just got me.
I have dropped from first to last, and Corey has jumped from last to first. So
you know what the shitty thing is Chase Elliott had like a really good race this week, and if I had just used him this week instead of last week,
He was.
I would be in really good shape right now.
Well, you guys haven't used Truex, and Truex and Kyle Larson are racing out of their mind this year. So Kevin took the thing down. I don't know if you guys used Kyle Larson yet either. So
I don't think I have. I don't even know who Kyle Larson is.
you have Stefan. We both used Larson.
What? I did not.
Yeah,
Pull it back up.
you probably both got good points out
Pull
of
it
it.
back up.
yeah, we did.
Pull it back up.
It doesn't happen in. I used them one week and then you used them next.
Oh, okay. All right.
Apparently, I'm the only one that made out with Elliot, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys both got burned really hard.
Single digits.
Logano kind of screwed you, Kevin. He did well for me and Stefan.
So I'm going to knock on wood, though, and just point out that I'm the sole survivor that hasn't had a 1 point week. So just gonna.
Besides Kurt Busch with a 7.
Hey,
Well, he
1
means
point.
like 1 point.
Oh,
just
one. Oh, Elliott had a 1 point, and McMurray, yeah.
So I'm holding strong. Knock on wood.
That's tough to do. You should be all right.
Did we want to take a venture in who's going to win the Pennsylvania 400 in Poneco this weekend?
Pocono. I'm going with Kurt Busch.
Going with Poneco. I like Poneco better.
Did you really? Did
I know
you
it-
really think it was Panico?
Oh, I know it's Pocono. I like Poneco though.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
something
about
I've
that.
learned. I used to do NASCAR games when I was a kid. And that's what I used to do. Who did you pick,
Kurt Busch.
Corey? Stefan, did you need time?
Oh,
Yeah. You know I did.
I'm gonna go with Truex this week. Why not?
He's hot. He's got a win coming. Probably will be Pocono.
Every time I go, oh yeah, there it is. Nope, just kidding.
I'd love to hear Stefan's theory on this.
I don't have a theory for this. This is just me. I don't even know who I have. All right, hold on. Give me a minute. I've already used a lot of these guys up near the top.
So, Corey, we reached the All-Star weekend a couple weekends ago. How many more races till the final?
After this past Dover race, we have completed 13 races, and we have 13 to go. So we're at the halfway mark right now. 13 to go until the chase.
And then we get to reset and
then we reset. Yep.
and pick Jimmy Johnson all the time.
Can I take?
Stefan, you're
Yeah, I'm
Really?
ready. I'm ready.
okay.
Have I taken? Let's go with Denny Hamlin. Have I taken him?
He's a clear pick for you.
All right. There it is. Heard it here
All right.
first.
So, with that being said, let's move on to my favorite subject, MMA. UFC 212 happened this past Saturday. And unfortunately, I don't think I wrote it down, but we all picked Aldo, did we not?
I did.
I did.
I'd probably pick
And I-
Max Holloway.
No, you didn't. You didn't. And unfortunately, Max Holloway, for us at least, Max Holloway put on an impressive performance. In fact, I think he won by knockout. Or I don't think I know. He won by knockout, TKO in the third round. Probably should have ended a little sooner than it did. Did you guys catch any of the fight? It was a good fight.
I actually watched the highlights.
It won fight of the night. I mean, Max Holloway, he's a beast. He landed 128 strikes compared to Mr. Aldo's 56. So, granted, Aldo's significant strikes was a lot higher than, I mean, he landed 48% strikes, and they were all significant according to the stats, whatever you want to consider significant. It was a good fight to watch. Unfortunately, for Aldo, I think this might be the beginning of the end. You're starting to see chinks in his armor. And I'd love to see Holloway fight McGregor because he called him out after the fight. I don't know if either of you saw that interview.
No.
I didn't. I thought he said he wasn't going to chase McGregor, and he was much more up for Frankie Edgar to happen.
So he didn't say he wanted McGregor, but it kind of it played off because he said that he won't beg for him,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not scared of him. He is the last fighter to actually go 5 rounds with McGregor and lose to decision to McGregor. It was a good fight then. I think it would be a good fight again, but I don't see McGregor returning to the UFC after the Mayweather fight, so we'll see. And then the only other fight of interest was the Claudot. Yeah, I can never say her name. But Claudia won in the first round by submission. It was a really quick fight. Only lasted like a minute, not even. I don't know if you guys saw any of that.
I did not.
Doesn't seem like
so
so much.
Claudia has actually fought the current champ Joanna twice now. So many consider her the solid number 2, but is there a point to fight number 3 if she's already lost to her twice? Probably not. So we'll see what happens with that coming down the line. I know Rose is also another name being thrown around as a challenger. I mean, is clear champion of that division, and I can't see anyone contending it in the next year.
She needs to move up.
I would definitely see that with the 125 being formed, but I don't see her going to 135. That's for sure. She's
no, and she's admitted that her gym mate there, Amanda Nunes, hits too hard for her to move up to that division.
So that's the next fight on July 8th, I believe. 213 falls is Nunes versus why am I drawing a blank on the Russian lady or whatever her name is? Shevchenko. There we go. So that's going to be a good fight to watch. I'll definitely illegally stream it. I mean, legally stream it on. That's going to be the main event with Yoel Romero and Robert Whitaker fighting for the interim belt and Bisping's division there. So also, if this card holds up, this is a pretty solid card because it's got Lawler versus Donald Cerrone, Weirdum versus Overeem, and Pettis versus Miller. So that's a pretty solid main card considering what's been going on in the UFC lately. So we'll have more on that. That's going to be July 8th, so July 4th weekend. So until then. Until then, there are other fights, but nothing's really exciting me right now off of this. I mean, Lewis Hunt, that'll be fun fight to watch, but nothing else on there. Holm is fighting again on UFC Fight Pass, but that one's not. She's lost 3 in a row. Granted, she probably should have won the last one. And although this brings up an interesting point. Did you guys know or hear about the current 145 women's champion and her not wanting to fight? Jermaine Durandamy doesn't want to fight what's her face? Cyborg. So she's going to drop down to 135 again.
Really?
Uses the fight Cyborg because of testing positive for steroids in the past. I mean, it's something unheard of. Someone with the belt refusing to fight someone based on that.
Right.
Willing to give up the belt. I've never seen a fighter. I've seen a fighter refuse, but never like, I'm going to give it up. I'd rather give it up than fight her. Like, that's how scary Cyborg is.
Right.
In MMA, I haven't seen it too much. In boxing, that's not unheard of.
And then also in MMA news, Gustafsson and John Jones have been going at it early last week. I don't know if you guys saw any of this, have you?
Was this their Twitter banter?
Well, it started with Gustafsson after his last win. He sat there and said he won't fight Jones because he's not, or John Jones isn't the real champion because of everything he's done. And Jones tweeted out at him saying, "Oh, that's funny because I still beat you and you're never going to be champion because you don't have heart of a champion." And then he said, congratulations on the marriage because Gustafsson proposed in it after his last fight. And then Gustafsson responded. I can't remember exactly how. I was not prepared to cover this topic, so it's going to be interesting to see if and when John Jones beats Daniel Cormier. Yeah, that's right. I said it. It's going to be an interesting rematch because many consider Gustafsson Jones the fight that may or may not have gone John Jones' way. I'm all in favor of the fact that Jones won that fight, but I've definitely heard, including one of our experts, say that Jones didn't win that fight. So we'll see. Come after UFC 214, who Jones' next opponent will be, because I'm calling it now, 2 months in advance. Jones over Cormier, probably by decision. Let's go with decision.
Does Cormier even make weight? I don't even know if he'll make weight.
That's true.
Very good question. We'll see. Like I said, we've got 2 months, and things always seem to fall apart with this fight. So I'm still keeping it at 65%, just passing probability of actually happening. So we'll see. All right. And I believe that's French Open. Corey, anything French Open wise we should know?
The two favorites, Andy Murray and Djokovic, well, the two top seeds, I should say, are still alive. Nadal is the favorite. He's still alive. Hasn't even dropped a set. My dark horse that Stefan asked me about, Dominic Thiem, still alive, looking good.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say, his last match there, he pretty much dominated.
Yeah, 6-1, 6-3, 6-1, straight sets. But he has to run into Djokovic, who has looked much better under the guidance of Andre Agassi. So that'll be a very interesting match. That's my highlight match of the tournament so far. My other one would be Andy Murray versus Kei Nishikori. Nishikori has made it to the finals of a tournament before. Back in 2015, he made it to the finals of the U.S. Open. Lost to Marin Cilic. Marin Cilic is still around. He's going against Stan Wawrinka. That's another high-level match. Stan is the 3 seed, and Stan has 3 majors himself. So all those matchups should be interesting. The men's is actually very interesting. The women's, as usual, is wide open. I have no idea who's going to win. The 1 seed fell in the first round. There is only a 3 seed and a 2 seed left. The 4 seed is out. The 5 seed is still there. And then you have a bunch of names but that have never won, like Caroline Wozniacki, Mladenovic. My guess would be Wozniacki to win on the women's side. Either I'm picking her versus Pliskova as the final, and I pick Wozy in 3. But we'll see what happens. The women's I haven't been following as tightly.
You don't like Halep?
I don't like that she's undersized. So a lot of times the power players tend to blast her off the court.
Right.
Which would be Pliskova. That's where I think Halep will drop. And then I think Basinski will be playing Wozniacki. And I have Wozniacki winning that, obviously.
What about that? So when I was looking at the men's, there's only one guy I have never heard of that I don't know if you've seen him play at all, the Carreno Busta.
Yeah, no, I have not. But for him to get a ranked seeding, I don't know if he's an up-and-comer
Right.
or if he's just someone who plays well on clay.
Right.
I'm going to go with the latter.
Yeah.
Obviously, he just had a really tough match with Milo Raonic. It went 4-6, 7-6, so it was a tiebreaker. Then 6-7, another tiebreaker, and then 6-4, and then there is no tiebreaker in the 5th, and he was able to pull it off 8-6. So he's going to be nice and tired playing
Right.
Rafa Nadal, who hasn't dropped a set yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are into Apple's press conferences or whatnot, but they're coming up with an Apple Watch app to keep track of like how your tennis stroke is.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. I know.
Corey.
I'm sorry. I nerded out earlier today. Sorry. Coming up next week, we're gonna have our U.S. Open golf preview as well. Some
No
exciting
Phil.
stuff
No
there.
Phil.
No Tiger.
Yeah.
For interesting
Is it
reasons.
confirmed that
Like,
Tiger's not playing yet?
I think it is. Also, by the way, I don't know if it was announced when we had our podcast last week. He blew a 0.0. He was under the influence of prescription drugs.
So he was
and
telling us
pulled
the truth.
over. Kingstone Elite card on him at the time of his arrest last week.
Ooh.
I
Did
saw
either of
that.
Did either of you
That's
see his actual?
I didn't watch it. I saw it get posted.
Yeah, I watched it. He was definitely whatever mixture of drugs he had going on. He was fucked up.
Well, you got to remember he's got back injuries, so it's got to be some kind of oxy or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, like you should know like the effects that you're gonna have of those drugs, and you probably shouldn't be driving.
Yeah, just like Steve Kerr isn't coaching until the other night.
Yeah, but I think that his whole thing is probably getting a little. I mean, yeah, it was dangerous for him to be driving, but if it was some reaction that he didn't know, I mean, obviously he takes these drugs all the time and he's able to function. So I don't know if maybe he got like a new prescription or what happened, but something wasn't right. Obviously it wasn't drinking. He wasn't driving around drunk. So I don't know. And there's more to the story than people know.
I'm sure there is. I mean, Tiger Woods hasn't exactly been the greatest image since everything came out.
Right.
He hasn't won a major in how many years now? So
He could also be abusing painkillers or something. Who knows?
tends to happen when you get injuries, and then you find out that I know I listened to the Fighter and the Kid podcast, and Brendan Schaub had a injury, and he's admitted that he used to be addicted, and like he would just think, oh, it's time for me to pop a pill. Oh, it's time for me to pop a pill. It's something often overlooked that prescription drugs are heavily abused in this country, and it's unfortunate because a lot of careers look like they've either ended or being ended by. So,
Hey,
all right.
Kevin, I just wanted to say breaking news that War Machine from MMA was sentenced to life in prison for his domestic abuse against Christy Mack, the porn star.
Yes, thank you. well deserved sentence, by the way.
He is up for probation in for parole in 36 years.
The picture of her.
Yeah, I watched the special that Real Sports with Brian Gumbel did on HBO. If anyone gets an opportunity to watch that, it's a really good interview with him and Brian Gumbel and Christy Mack.
Jesus.
So he did quite a number on her.
Yeah.
The man that was in her bed too, I heard, took quite the beating as well.
Oh, I'm sure he did. So, well-deserved life sentence there. Now, are we going to our top 50? Oh, wrong one. Now, Stefan's super secret, super awesome top 5. Can only imagine what this one's going to be about.
Half the time, I don't even know what it's going to be. One of those spur of the moment type of deals. This week,
MMA fighters. You
No.
need to update that list.
no, because I'm trying to stay on good terms with Ben for a little bit. I don't want him to. I just met him for the first time, so I want him to like still have, good thoughts.
I feel like you're
Our-
showing him respect because he beat you in the beer mile.
All right, yeah, a little bit. I gotta.
A little bit. And then he ran another quarter mile with you to finish the race.
And he also finished my last beer for me. So,
Shouts out to Ben for being a true one.
True one.
shout out to Ben for being a true homie. All right, so this week we've got the top 5 least athletic white athletes.
Oh boy.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Honorable mention goes to a one Kevin Burchell. He did not make the list though.
How dare you? How dare you?
You didn't make the list though, so you're good.
That's good.
But you're good.
There's still a chance that me or Stefan is on it.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. I survived.
All right, so number 5 is gonna be probably one of the most famous gingers, non-athletic. Can you take a guess, Corey?
Canelo Alvarez?
No, he's athletic. What do you mean, Jesus?
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, why would I put him on the list?
I don't know. I don't know about gingers. Andy Dalton?
No. Do you want to take a guess, Corey or Kevin?
Alexi Lawless.
No. All right, you guys both are terrible.
Was you soccer?
We got a one Mr. Brian Scalabrine. Kevin doesn't
I don't
know
even
who that is.
No.
Corey
I
knows
know.
who that is.
Yes.
He's a good shooter, but outside of that, he's very non-athletic.
Oh, man.
He was
Brian,
about-
call us. 425-780-6355.
I'm still. I mean, I love gingers. All gingers. They all need love too. But you're just one of them, the least athletic ones out there. Number 4, Kevin will know this one. One tall, goofy Craig Forth.
How dare you? He scored the key basket to win the 2003 national championship. Or excuse me, he had the key block.
He had the key block.
Yeah,
Did he?
at the end.
Oh, you don't consider Hakeem Warwick's block a key block?
That one too.
Oh,
Was
but
there.
Craig Forth's block was more key
You're
than.
calling him unathletic, and I call you.
Because the guy was 7 foot. That's why he blocked the guy. What do you mean?
No, it was a fast
You don't
break.
have to jump. You don't have to jump when you're 7 foot. You've got a wingspan of
Yeah,
7'4".
you have to run.
Probably.
You have to run.
Okay, he was probably cherry picking down the other end, just waiting for you. They were probably like, you know what, you stay on the defensive end because you're not doing anything offensively for us. So just stay down there defensively and get this block. That was it.
All right, let's go.
So I know Kevin doesn't agree with number 4 already, so that's good.
I don't even like Craig Forth, and you're making me stand up for him.
Number 3, I've got Peyton Manning, probably the slowest man to ever play quarterback. I would even. Okay, yeah, great. He has Super Bowls. Doesn't mean he's athletic.
You think he's less athletic than Brian Scalabrine and Craig Forth?
Yes. Because he just said that Craig Forth could at least run. I don't think Peyton
Yeah,
Manning could
but
run.
didn't we admit that hand-eye coordination is a part of being athletic? And don't you think Peyton Manning's is like
I don't know if we agreed with it being athletic, but we agreed with it being.
coordination?
This
Part
wasn't
of-
really well thought out by Stefan.
That's not true. No.
I feel like Stefan was spending most of his time this week editing the recap. That, by the way, thanks for doing-
phenomenal. The phenomenal recap. You're welcome.
I will give you
Thank you.
Stefan, we're getting some feedback on your Brian Scalabrine pick.
I know, I saw it. Brian Scalabrine would school me 9 out of 10 times. I don't think 10 out of 10. I think I would get hot one game, and I would probably at least win one, I think. Just for the fact that he has no soul. But for number 3, yeah, Peyton Manning. I just don't, he's coordinated, yeah, but athletic-wise, he's just,
He's won Super Bowls. Sure, he's done this. Sure, he's done that.
Apparently, Stefan's just saying athletic is running and jumping.
Yes, thank you.
Apparently.
Okay. So on to number 2 here, we got.
we will find out who's the least athletic during the combine. Then.
Yes, we will.
And that person will eventually join this top 5 list.
Is that why I'm still honorable mention then?
That's why you're an honorable mention, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to be working out for the next two months to prove you wrong.
All right. Number 2 could be debatable because I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say all of them are debatable, but number 2 will debate if he actually belongs on the list or not. I don't know what we actually consider white athletes, but the color of this man's skin was white. So, Yao Ming, just tall. He's tall and he was not athletic. When you're like 7'6" or whatever, 7'4", I don't even know how tall he was, but you don't got to do much. You just stand there. And that's all he did.
5 ever.
Huh? Worst top 5 ever? Does this make my top 5 top 5s?
No. And I don't even think you have top 5.
Huh?
You have like one good top 5.
What do you mean? All of them are good top
Yao
5s.
Ming?
Yeah.
Yao Ming's not even white. He's Asian.
All right, that's why I said it was debatable. He's still white.
This top 5 is amazing. I'm loving it.
He's like yellow. He's not.
No, he's not. Now
Number
you're being
one's going to be
racist,
Rocky
dude.
Balboa. He's a
No.
fictional character.
Now you're being racist. Calling him yellow. That's not right. I'm done. I'm done with you. You just took this to a whole other level.
Did we or did you?
No, I was keeping it very, very politically correct here.
By including an Asian on the top 5.
Are Asians not white? Yes, they're still white.
No, they are not white.
They're not Western European white, okay, but they're white. All right. Anyways,
Okay, well, who's number 1?
do you want to take a guess? Anybody? At the least athletic white athlete.
Of all time? Adam Morrison.
No.
Larry Bird.
No, he was very athletic.
Brad Miller.
Oh,
Brad Miller.
Center for the Sacramento Kings. Scott Pollard.
No.
Bradley. What's his face? Bradley.
Sean Bradley.
Sean Bradley? No.
George Mearson.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
You're in the wrong sport right now.
Tom Brady.
Wrong sport.
Tom Brady's the wrong sport.
Wrong sport.
Man.
Amir Yager.
Nope, wrong sport.
Phil
It's
Mickelson?
not even a team sport. Oh, you're getting closer.
Right
getting
sport.
John Daly.
There it is.
This.
Jonathan
The
Daly.
only pick I agree with you.
I think we can all agree with number 1.
The least athletic white athlete of all time, John Daly. Also probably the most intoxicated athlete of all time.
That's debatable.
Well, we could debate that one all you want.
David Wells is most
Oh,
intoxicated.
Ron Artest said he used to flake liquor in the locker room during games. So
I think this list is missing Babe Ruth and David Wells. That's who I would put in.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing it's not your segment because your segment would have sucked.
oh man, shots fired.
I'm pretty sure this segment was definitely not your top 5. So.
Yes, it is. This will probably go down as the top 3 ever. We actually got a text, okay, for this top 5. So
We did. We actually
that is
did
the
get
first
feedback on
time.
this one.
All right. To be
This one
fair,
this one automatically goes up the
I
top.
didn't get a text.
This
They
one
didn't text this number. They texted you, so
I
it
know.
doesn't count.
By the way, text the text line,
425
not your own text line.
355. All right. So, with that fun segment finally being over, Stefan did come up with this amazing idea. I didn't even give him credit at first. I thought it was Corey that put this on. A website called theundefeated.com is going to be unveiling the 50 greatest black athletes in July. And I don't know where you got this from, Stefan, honestly, but it's amazing.
I saw it on ESPN, I think, or something.
It's voted by the people, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
it's by
voted
Survey Monkey.
by yes. And it will be unveiled next month, but they did unveil their top 10 that didn't make the top 50.
Yeah, and it already proved that the people are morons.
I knew Corey was not going to like this.
So
I already know which one Corey would put in the top 50.
before we get into those people, if you were, I'm going to surprise you both because I didn't put this in the notes. If you were to put your number 1 black athlete, who would you put?
Am I guessing who they picked or who would I pick?
Who would you pick?
Oh, so we're not guessing who is going to be number 1. We're
You can do
guessing.
that too, but
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. Okay.
Why don't we all guess who they picked first? Who do you think the people picked?
the people probably picked LeBron James, it looks like, according to this list.
You think so?
I don't know.
Did you see the criteria? Did you read it? The criteria is... Oh, come on. I did read it earlier. An athlete that exerts overall dominance, impact on society, and inspirational resonance. There was 200 athletes to choose from, and they came up with the top 50.
Wow.
So
I didn't read that part.
my
Thank you.
guess, if you were to pick that, would be Muhammad Ali will be number 1 as far as impact on society, inspirational resonance, and overall dominance. Not only would Muhammad Ali be number 1, I think, on their list, he's definitely number 1 on mine. So
do you think that these other athletes were looked down upon because they fulfilled maybe the dominance part, but not the impact on society and inspiration part?
yeah, when we get to those 10 that are outside,
Right.
I'll talk a little bit about that.
So I'm going to say I think it's one of 2 people. For number 1, I think it's either Jordan or Muhammad Ali. I'm going to say I'll be possibly the odd man. I don't know who Kevin's going with, but I'm going to say Jordan.
I think
So, yeah, go ahead, Corey.
I was gonna say I think there's a good 5 people that you could choose from. So I'm very curious who Kevin would pick.
Oh, it's outside the box. So after you said the Muhammad Ali, I definitely think that people will probably either pick him or Jordan. But honestly, my number 1 would be Jackie Robinson, and the
I was
fact
gonna
that
say,
He was in my top 5. My other one would be Jim Brown
yeah.
because of his social impact in the Black Panther movement, all that. Obviously, we talked about Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, his breakthrough. I'll let you talk a little bit about him. And then my other one would be Jordan. So
I'm picking Jackie Robinson just for the fact that he had to put up with breaking that racial barrier and getting through to, dealing with players sliding in with cleats first and everything that came along with being that first black athlete. And I think that has changed the face of sports. And I think it took a lot of courage, and the fact that he had that courage to be that first player is just makes him number 1 in my books, at least.
I would agree.
I think another one would be that will be high on the list would be Jesse Owens. He was a track star in the Olympics. He was.
Yeah, but
It was a time when Germany was that dominant. You know, we know all about Germany back then.
Yeah.
And Jesse Owens had to go into Germany and compete in that Olympics. That was a big deal.
And he gave Hitler the middle finger, and
Yeah, I could easily see some people voting him number one. I don't think he'll be the overall overwhelming favorite, but
I mean,
could see.
that's probably going to depend on who, like, what age group gets what these surveys are more geared towards, you know?
Right. And like we said, judging by these 10 out that we'll be talking about, I think it's a age group that's closer to our generation.
Right.
Probably not our parents.
Yeah.
Our parents would say Muhammad Ali and Jesse Owens and Jim Brown. I think our generation would say Michael Jordan, maybe LeBron James, those type of people.
Right.
Although there is some interesting ones that are left off, so we'll see.
well, how do you know they're left off?
Well, because they're in the 10 out.
Oh, all right. Well, fair point. So let's look at the 10 that were left out. I find it kind of interesting that Kevin Durant is number 51. I think it might be too soon to be considering him as that great of a black athlete. Also, Floyd Mayweather, undefeated still, 49-0 at number 60. Corey, what's your opinion about that?
I would say he's one of the 10 greatest boxers of all time. So,
do you rank him ahead of Evander Holyfield?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my argument there. Is I would definitely put him ahead of him.
Yes, but we're getting. I'm going to get to the part that hurts him is the social impact, the impact on society. Floyd Mayweather has numerous domestic violence allegations and other assault charges, and his personality in the beginning of his career was really off-putting to some, even though all he did was mimic Muhammad Ali. So I won't go there, but and probably most people wouldn't consider him very inspirational. He brags about money, he brags about wealth. So I think those are all negatives. As far as being overall dominant out of one of those three things, yeah, he is. He's extremely dominant. So I feel like 60% of the criteria goes against him. So I understand why he's off the list.
All right, and then number 59 is Randy Moss. I don't know. He had some kind of an impact. I don't even see him fitting in that top 50 realm, though.
Me either. I was kind of surprised he was even mentioned.
Well, I mean, he's one of the greatest wide receivers. I mean, you can't.
His dominance, yeah, but again, what was his impact on society?
Right. See, that was the whole. I didn't understand that that was part of the curriculum or whatever. Yeah, as far as society, no, he didn't really do anything outside of that. I mean, he kind of revolutionized like the whole trash talking part, I guess I would say. I feel like he was he kind of led the way, and then T.O. kind of took over, and you know, now wide receivers are kind of like those just flashy trash talking players. As far as anything positive, nothing really. I don't see anything.
No.
You know, he was kind of him, and I'll be interested to see if T.O. makes it in the top 50. If T.O. makes it over him.
Well, I don't. No.
You know?
No. Yeah.
I could definitely see Jerry Rice making it up there, though. Jerry Rice.
He'll be in there.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 58 was Kobe Bryant. I'm surprised he fell this low. I would have thought he would be a top 25.
Here's my problem. That's the one that I have the problem with. There's no way Kobe Bryant is not one of the 50 greatest African-American athletes. I don't care if you do the impact on society. He had the rape charge. He was acquitted. So as far as our court system goes, He is not guilty. That should have no bearing on him.
He had the affair and then recuperated his wife with a giant diamond ring, you know.
He did.
Allegedly. Didn't he end up getting a divorce anyways?
No, he's still married.
Oh, see, so
So,
That
I mean, he still has that. He formed his own brand with Nike. He's been an inspiration to a lot of the athletes that are coming up in the league as far as his work ethic.
changed his image.
Yeah, I just think there's no way he's outside the top 50. I don't care if you put him 49 or 50, but he's not outside the top 50.
I agree. No, he's definitely up there.
He's on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores as greatest players ever.
Yeah.
And he should definitely not be behind number 57, Scottie Pippen.
No.
No. The rest of these, I'll admit, I don't have much of a problem with. But Kobe Bryant, to me, was just, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Scottie Pippen, I don't even see him as an honorable mention in the top 10 here of just outside. In my opinion, he was nothing without Jordan, as it showed when he went to the Trailblazers, and Jordan was nothing without him. For some reason, they just seemed to be that great duo.
But to his credit, he did make the playoffs when Jordan retired on that Chicago team. So that's the year a lot of people look at as that proved his worth.
Was that more the system, or was it more?
I think it's more Phil Jackson. I think Phil Jackson proved that he's the real deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
All right, and then number 56, Moses Malone. I think he had a little more impact than this survey is giving him credit to. He easily could be a top 50 as well as number 55, Dominic Wilkins. Wilkins kind of had that thing going on with Jordan in the late 80s. I mean,
he's another one that I think is a fringe top 50. Because as far as dominance, not so much in the NBA. He was a good player. He was even an all-star, but he wasn't like super dominant. But as far as impact on the sport, the whole dunk contest was kind of formed because of him and Jordan. They impacted the sport that way, the flashiness. There wasn't a lot of dunking really hard besides Dawkins back in the day when he would break backboards. Dominique brought back the hard dunking, the flashy dunking. So I thought his impact and his inspiration for the newer athletes is great. I'm surprised he didn't make the list.
Yeah, I think I have more of an issue with the player that's in front of him, Russell Westbrook. I feel like he's too new to the sport necessarily, I guess. He hasn't really made that much of an impact as much as Dominique Wilkins did, other than fancy fashion sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would say his fashion puts him up in top 50 at least.
Do you like Russell in the top 50 for real?
I think it is probably too early for Russell, but I think when all's said and done, he'll be in the top 50.
What will be interesting is if Oscar Robertson's in the top 50 and Russell isn't, because they're very similar as their stats are.
Right. I mean, Russell Westbrook has a lot. I mean, this was his first year with being on his own, so whether he'll be able to sustain that kind of success, or whether he'll ever be actually make the Thunder a contender on his own, it remains to be seen. But if you go with the other criteria, though, he hasn't really influenced anything. He hasn't motivated anything. I don't know.
Influence fashion, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Pre-game and post-game fashion.
Yeah.
All right, and number 53 is Walt Frazier.
Speaking of fashion, he was the very first person to dress flashy and fashionable. He was the originator of all that, wearing fancy clothes heading into games, wearing outlandish clothes after games, doing interviews in crazy outfits, crazy hats. So if you're going to give it to somebody, I would give it to Walt. He also won the championship with the Knicks. He should get some credit for that.
Anybody who can win a championship with them deserves credit.
So he's one that I also thought was interesting, being on the outside, looking in. Again, though, what age group is voting? We don't know, right? I guess everybody. Anybody could.
Yeah.
Anybody and everyone, and the way the internet works right now, it looks like our age group. So good job, age group. Coming in at number 52 is Evander Holyfield. I definitely don't think he should be this high, in my opinion. The only thing he's really known for is getting his ear bit off by Mike Tyson. That's all I really know him.
I was going to say his counterpart is going to make the top 50, mainly because he showed dominance early on in his career, Mike Tyson, and then he was an inspiration to a lot. His impact on society was great, even though it was mostly negative, but it was impactful either way. Evander was like the hardworking blue-collar worker. He kind of showed the everyday man that if you just worked hard, that if you didn't have a lot of talent, hard work pays off. So I could see that as an inspiration because he was able to beat Mike Tyson, the guy who was athletically more gifted than most. But that's about it. He's a good guy. He's one of the top 10 greatest heavyweights of all time. But is he one of the top 10 boxers of all time? Probably not. And if he's one of the, not even in the top 10 boxers of all time, let's say you put 10 boxers on the list, that would be 20% of the list. So there aren't even going to be 10 boxers on the list.
No.
So Evander Holyfield he shouldn't even be that high.
And then, as we said earlier, Kevin Durant came in at number 51. Do you think this has more to do with his MVP speech than anything, or just the fact that he's modern, I guess, for this list?
I mean, he's definitely modern. He's a hot topic right now, so people know who he is. I've seen stuff that he did a lot for the community when he was in Oklahoma City. When they had like the tornadoes and stuff, I saw a lot of stuff about him for that. So I think that he is an impactful person, but as far as like, as some of the, like Muhammad Ali is like way above him, or like Jordan, like that, I don't see it being as impactful.
What
as,
did
like, those?
What did Jordan really do though? Like that's what a lot of black, or I should say, yeah, a lot of black people have a problem with Jordan not really standing up for black rights and speaking out about a lot of social issues. So that's why I didn't pick him number one, because besides being dominant, what did Jordan do?
Maybe he, as far as like black rights and stuff, but like in another way, like maybe like I look at it as like a business. Like he obviously has one of the best businesses ever, and it's by an African American.
Yeah.
So
I heard that he's a douchebag outside of like sports.
I was waiting for Stefan to use the business argument because I think that's the reason he'll be on the list.
Yeah, that's why I put him up there. Is just his marketing is just taken. I mean, he's probably the most well-known.
Yeah,
probably the most well-known brand in the world.
And the quote from Jay-Z, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman." Yeah. Meaning he is the business. Michael Jordan is a business. He branded himself.
Yeah. I don't think you'll ever see that happen again.
Logo.
What'd you say? The logo? Yeah. The Jumpman?
Yeah. I mean, everyone recognizes that as Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, if the times were changed and Muhammad Ali could be in a more modern era, he'd have something very similar.
But would he be as dominant? Like, was Muhammad Ali like that right time and the right place type athlete? Because would he even be able to compete with boxers nowadays?
Yeah, I think he's actually would be a lot better than a lot of the boxers today, because a lot of the athletes today, I believe, think the risk isn't worth the reward for boxing. So back in the day, like a lot of your top athletes, boxing was the prestigious sport. So your best athletes were looking to get into boxing. Now your best athletes are like, why would I get punched in the face when I can go play basketball or football and make way more money? So I think boxing was much more competitive back then because of that reason than it is now. But that's a whole nother argument.
All right, fair enough. Corey, you kind of already gave your top five. Stefan, did you want to give a top five at all of who you think might be?
I mean, I pretty much agree with Corey in the sense of Muhammad Ali, Jordan, Jackie Robinson,
Jim Brown, Jesse Owens. You believe that's the top five?
Jim Brown, yeah. I don't know if Jesse Owens. I don't know if that's going to depend on how many people even know who that was, you know?
What about Bo Jackson being the first to be very good at both sports? Do we all agree he'll be high on the list?
He could be up there.
You know what? And I think time has something to do with this. And I feel like LeBron James sneak in.
You think LeBron James makes top five?
I have another question, and I don't mean this to sound racist to our viewers, but do they have to be 100% African American, or is that going to count? Like Steph Curry, is that going to count?
I didn't say, so I don't know. It was predetermined 200, so
Right.
filled in the blanks, and then
Right.
well, black. So
I could even see this one could probably be debated, but Tiger Woods.
He'll be
I
up there.
mean,
he's top 10 in my books,
he definitely changed the sport of golf. You know,
especially since the survey was done before.
Right.
What about Serena Williams?
Yeah. See, that was the other thing. I don't even know if there's like I'm assuming women
It's just
athletes
athletes.
are included. Yeah, I'm assuming women athletes.
Venus, wasn't Venus more of a immediate impact, and then Serena followed in her footsteps?
And then surpassed her by a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
I feel like Venus would be higher on my list than Serena.
I would have to say Serena because I honestly think she's the greatest tennis player ever, male or female.
Yeah.
So I think she'll be very high on the list because her
I thought-
dominance, she's such a good person and done so much for the community. She's never in trouble. She has her own fashion line that's been successful. I don't see how she's not she's got to be the top half, top 25 at least.
Does John Jones make the list?
No.
Ugh, no. Does an African American MMA fighter make the list?
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't think so.
The only one that I could see is Cormier.
Really?
I don't agree.
Over Demetrius Johnson or someone like that?
Yeah, but not a lot of people know about Demetrius. That's the thing. I mean, Stefan referred to him as a midget, and he's clearly not. And no.
I'd say he's borderline midget. Borderline midget.
I just have I feel like maybe Anderson Silva is another person, but I just don't see.
Yeah, I could see Anderson Silva. He kind of revolutionized that sport. He kind of
Is he African American or is he Latino?
He's Brazilian.
Okay.
I don't know the criteria.
I don't either for that. That's why I
Yeah.
asked. I'll be very
Yeah.
curious for some of the people that make it, like what the criteria was.
So, I'm
that'll be interesting.
trying to think. I mean, if that's the case, then Pele would be on there for soccer.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. He'll be very high.
If that's the case, because once again, Brazilian. So
Is there
Right.
anyone higher than Jackie Robinson on the list as far as baseball? Does Hank Aaron beat him with the home run record?
It does say the 50 greatest black athletes, so it doesn't say what their nationality.
Right, it
or
doesn't-
anything, so
I think that's because Jamaican. I mean, you could pick anything. Yeah.
right.
Usain Bolt, does he make the list?
Oh,
Abs- Usain Bolt's in my top 10.
What about Michael Johnson from USA as a track star? I mean, he kind of revolutionized the sport.
He might be in there.
yeah, I think he might. He should make
But
top
again,
50.
you're talking age groups. Does everyone remember Michael Johnson? We're a sports show. We are or I think we all think of ourselves as sports nerds. Not everyone might know who Michael Johnson is.
Carl Lewis.
Yep. A lot of track athletes.
Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Mm-hmm.
Does McNabb make it?
No.
No?
Sorry.
Does any black quarterback make it? No.
Not even Warren Moon?
Not Warren Moon, not Russell Wilson, even though he's biracial. I don't think he'll make it.
See, and this is where age group comes in. I think he's going to be on at like number 42. We'll just put it out there. He's going to make the top 50.
You think Russell makes it?
I just judging on the 10 that didn't make it in, I'm going to say that he makes it in.
Mike Vick, then? You think he makes it?
I'm pretty sure he doesn't make the list for his
For
extracurricular.
his society impact?
Going out on a limb there. Just kind of like Plex.
I think McNabb
Making
does
the
make
list.
it.
You think
I think
McNabb?
McNabb makes it. Yeah.
What about Doug Williams, then, being the first African-American to ever win the Super Bowl as a quarterback?
But who even knows how to... I don't even know who that is.
He was the quarterback for the Washington Redskins when they won.
Oh.
Against the Bills.
I'm just saying those are like breaking like barriers. So
Right. No, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
But was he that great? Not really.
No one knows him. The only
Right.
people that know him are Bills fans and Redskins fans.
I remember Randall Cunningham being revolutionary, but does he make it? I doubt it.
I might disagree. I think he might be in the top 40.
Because without Randall, I think there's no Mike Vick as far as how they played, and a lot of the new players coming in.
I think Randall Cunningham or Warren Moon, one of those two got to make it.
What about Deion Sanders? How high is he?
Oh, Jesus. He's in there too. That's the sad part.
His impact was crazy. He was like the show,
Primetime.
prime time, and he was an amazing athlete. Baseball, football.
He's
Yeah, he's up there.
one of the few. Bo Jackson.
Yep, we mentioned him. Yeah, he'll be up there.
He's top 15.
There's so many. That's why like people like Floyd Mayweather are left out, but Kobe Bryant should not be
Right.
left out. That's ridiculous.
No,
I think
but he's arguably like the top 5 greatest players.
Yeah,
if you were to put Kobe Bryant in somewhere other than 58, where would you put him?
30. Because now that we're naming all these people, there are a lot of people that were more impactful on society than him.
I'll give him 25.
He's somewhere in the top 35 for me, so I'm right around where you guys are. I don't think 58 is the area because how many players are being influenced by him in today's game?
A lot. A lot.
Is Shaq in there?
Ugh,
Probably up there.
he should be.
Yeah.
But he's not even on people's Mount Rushmore. That's what's crazy. Like, Kobe is.
Right?
Shaq made it to the finals before Kobe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Did he,
not
win
like,
did he win a final before Kobe?
well, yeah, but did Kobe win one without Shaq?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won 3 without him. Or 2 without him, sorry.
Where did Shaq go after Shaq won one without him? Yeah.
Yeah, Shaq went to Miami and won 1 with Dwayne Wade.
He also went to Cleveland. He also went to Boston.
Phoenix.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yep.
He got desperate at the end of his career there.
Yes, he became a ring chaser after he went to Phoenix.
Did I have this argument with you, Corey, or did I have an argument with somebody else? Maybe it was somebody else
About
Shaq going to Cleveland. I didn't think he went
Oh.
to Cleveland.
no,
I think it was somebody else.
yeah, he went there.
Was that with LeBron?
Yes,
Yeah, it was with LeBron. I didn't believe it, and then I had to look it up, and I was like, "Oh, you're right."
yeah, he did. He was awful at that point.
I think my final question is where do you think LeBron lands on this list?
Number 10.
7.
I'll say 17.
I just, the way this is voted on, I feel like 7.
Okay, my last question. What sport has the most athletes in the top 50?
Well, we saw which sport was dominated in this last part, the 51 to 60.
That's kind of where I'm headed to.
So I'm going to guess basketball.
But what sport is the most dominated by black athletes also, right? Basketball. So
Yeah, it's true.
Very true.
I think it'll be a good mixture of probably basketball and football.
I hope I'm pleasantly surprised, and there's all the people that we named, there's a good array of all sports. Like Pele, I hope, Tiger, all these people.
Right.
Everyone should make it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. I don't know how they're actually going to release it. If they're going to release it all at once, or if they're like...
They're doing blocks, aren't they? Like the next will be 50 to 40.
All I know is it starts in July when they start releasing them. I don't know I don't know if it's all at once or how it's being done. It would make sense to do it like every 10 or so.
Lonzo Ball better make it. That's all I can say.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Big baller brand.
Yeah, he's already been revolutionized society. $495 shoe.
No, so LeVar Ball should be making it, not fucking Lonzo.
He could take Jordan, apparently.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. I think that will do it for today. I like that segment, so hopefully we get more topics like that, like top 50 white athletes of all time.
Yeah, or we could do top 50 least athletic.
And on that note,
Well, Kevin Burchell's number 6 on Stefan's list.
honorable mention. All right. For those of you wondering, Stefan is in charge of the recap. So if you have comments about that, talk to him. Stefan, looking forward to that getting posted sooner than Sunday. I did like, so maybe if it's that long to make perfection, I guess keep it up. Keep up the good right. NHL Finals, I believe, start
Tonight.
in just a half hour.
Yeah.
So tune into that. NBA Finals doesn't return until Wednesday. Once again, love the long layoffs. This loses my interest, even though
It's the
I'm
best.
pretty sure everyone's tuning out anyway. Join us again if you want to. Call or text us. Text line behind me if you can't see it. If you're listening and not paying attention to the video, it's 425-780-6355. And by the way, no, I am not reading it off of that. I'm reading it off of sign on the wall because it shows it backwards in my viewpoint. I will play your voicemail if you're brave enough to leave a voicemail. So come on, do it. We record this live every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to become part of the show, go ahead and call in. I always have the phone. I'm kind of interested to hear this ring actually during the show. So fingers crossed someday.
Someday.
Corey and Stefan, I'm Kevin. Thanks for watching or listening, however you're taking this nonsense in. I think today was a great show, and I hope you guys return as listeners, viewers, whatever you guys are. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Later.